Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 4 of Jacket Sports Weekly. Today, we're having a typical episode to start, so we're starting off with all things cross-country, even getting into men's and women's soccer, but then we're switching things up a little bit with an interview with Julia Umshares, and then even the top 5 plays from this past month in September, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Jacket Sports Weekly.
Welcome to Jacket Sports Weekly, Waynesburg University's weekly sports show where we cover the best of the best in athletics. Our analysts discuss a multitude of highlight plays such as touchdown passes.
And Barber's going to throw again, one-on-one. Does he got it in him? That's a catch! Tyler Richmond with flags thrown everywhere makes the catch! Touchdown, Waynesburg!
And ones.
This was low, Waynesburg's going to get it! Suggs is going to pull away here, go for the layup, and it's going to fall in and one! PJ Suggs!
And home runs.
Higgins drives one to left field. The left fielder running back, and that ball is out of here. Grace Higgins.
Join us every Wednesday to see what's new in Waynesburg University athletics.
Welcome back to Jacket Sports Weekly. Today we have a lot to cover, so let's get right into the action. Starting things off with men's and women's cross country. Both performed at the Dickinson Short-Term Invitational this past Saturday. The men placed 17th out of 19 different teams, while the women placed 10th out of 19 different teams. Erin Belleville placed 28th overall, which earned her the PAC Newcomer of the Week this past week. Taking things over to the Greens, Waynesburg Women's Golf traveled to the Franciscans Fall Invitational, placing 6 out of 7 teams. The men's tied 6 out of 7 teams as well at the Grove City Invitational. Taking things over to the tennis court, women's tennis lost 5 sets to 2 to Westminster this past Friday. The Yellow Jackets then went on to win 2 straight matches, beating Ursuline 6-1 on Sunday, then Teal 6-1 on Tuesday. Julia Umshares has been one of the few stars on this young women's tennis team. In fact, we got an exclusive interview with her coming up next here on Jacket Sports Weekly.
Welcome into the special segment of Jacket Sports Weekly, where we're joined with Julia Umshares from the Waynesburg women's tennis team to talk a little bit about this season so far. So Julia, so far this season, you guys have had the best start that you've had in 10 years. What preparation do you think has led to that?
I definitely think getting new recruits has definitely helped. We had 3 new freshmen, and then 2 of them, one Celeste, she's the number 1. She's also from South Africa, which is really cool. And then we also have Taylor, who's at the number 3 spot. So definitely that has obviously helped a lot because everyone else has kind of shifted into a spot that makes more sense for how they play and who they play against the other teams.
Yeah. So what would you say are some personal or some collective team goals that you're all looking to achieve this year?
Personally, I'm just trying to win more of my own matches, or at least do better than I did against these teams last year, especially now that I'm in a different spot. And then collectively, kind of the same thing, just trying to go out and win more matches than previous years, which we obviously have already started to do, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So,
and then today is a match day for you. Give us a little insight. What does your routine for a match day typically look like?
Okay, so I get up and I start to hydrate all throughout the day, and then I'll bring liquid IV and Gatorade to my actual matches. So I definitely focus on that because it's a lot hotter on the actual courts than it is just regularly. So then after that, we arrive kind of an hour and a half, I would say, before. And so we warm up, we do serving, we do doubles, we hit back and forth, cross court, everything like that. And then we start with doubles first. And then once we're done with doubles, we do singles. I've been doing a lot of singles this year, but I might do some doubles. We'll see. So
yeah. And then you alluded to it a little bit, but how do you feel about where this team is headed in the future this season?
I definitely think we're doing a lot better than previous years. So that's really exciting, and hopefully we continue to get even better each year.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Julia.
Of
Make sure
course.
you support your Waynesburg women's tennis team. And when we're back, Julia is going to teach me how to serve a tennis ball. Welcome back into Jacket Sports Weekly. I'm going to hand it over to Julia, and she's going to teach us how to serve a tennis ball.
Okay, so if you're playing singles, you're going to want to stand right here. You always start on the right side of this line, and because you're playing singles, you want to kind of be here instead of over here, because you want to be in the middle, because when they return it, it could go this way or that way.
Mhm.
But if you're playing doubles, you have an opponent up there by the net, so you can serve more over here.
Mhm.
So you're more likely to not hit them in the head. And because you want to be able to cover over here.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of explain how to serve.
Okay.
So I'll explain it for like a beginner level.
Okay.
'Cause I'm assuming
Please.
you've never hit a tennis
Never
ball
hit a
before.
tennis ball in my life.
Okay. So you can want to point your feet kind of towards that post. You don't want to be like this.
Yeah.
You kind of want to stand this way.
Okay.
And put one foot a little bit ahead of the other. Mine is my left because I'm right-handed.
Okay.
So you hold it out like this.
Okay.
And you just toss it up.
Okay.
And it has to be like, I'd say a couple feet
Okay.
above your head. And then you want to hold it like
Okay.
that and go down and flick your wrist kind of down.
Okay. Okay.
So
Similar to a basketball, right?
yeah, kind of
okay.
like,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So you just toss it up and flick down.
Okay.
And then you want to aim for in the square.
Okay. Okay.
So
In the opposite square, or the big square.
yes, over
Opposite
here.
square. Okay.
Opposite square.
Okay. 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 I'm ready.
Okay.
No judgments from anybody.
I will
This
not
is
judge.
horrific. Okay. Feet. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you move a little
Right
bit.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you want to, I should have taught you how to hold the racket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Bottom.
So you want to have it like that.
Okay. Okay. On the very bottom.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's try it again.
You want to
So-
toss it a little higher.
A little higher. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Third time's the charm. Or not. Third time's the charm.
Even higher. It's
Okay.
kind of hard
It's
because the sun
not.
is
It's not a
different.
bad shot. I'm just a little. I'm a little short. I'm a little short. Okay. Let's see if I can do this again. Fourth time is probably maybe not a charm, but that's okay. We're gonna try. Okay.
Sometimes it helps if you start like and you like
Like here
go. Yeah.
and come back.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's
I'm
what I
like
do.
this, and I'm throwing up.
Yeah.
And I'm going
because your
back.
racket's kind of back and then you're going
Okay.
down over top.
Okay.
Yay!
That one was over, which is good, but it wasn't in. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm
was-
playing doubles, it was in.
Well, not for the serve.
Never mind then. Well, that's going to do it all for now. Thank you, Julia, for helping
Of
us today
course.
with the demonstration, the interview. I don't think I'll be playing tennis anytime soon, but it's a thought that counts, so I appreciate it.
Of course.
That's going to do it all for us with the tennis segment today on Jacket Sports Weekly, but stick around because we have more content coming soon.
I'm working here. My bad.
It's time to travel to the hardwood, but not for basketball. We're talking all things volleyball. Ethan Spozarski joins me on the desk, and we're starting things off with the 3-set sweep loss to Bethany on Saturday. Spose, how are the Bison able to win in such dominant fashion?
It was rough because it wasn't dominating at all. It was back and forth. I mean, Waynesburg blew a plethora of different leads, specifically in that second set. Waynesburg had 2 5-point leads, I believe. It was somewhere in that range, and they blew that. And then they were up with pretty much a set point hand in hand, and then they had to go to a little bit of extra play and end up losing it. So by no stretch was it dominating fashion. I've said it from day one that the 2 teams that Waynesburg can compete with most with is Grove City and Bethany. Now, they did end up losing to both those teams so far this year in conference competition, but by no means was this a dominating win. Waynesburg let Bethany win in this situation. They just weren't able to clutch it up, especially once they get past that 20-point mark. Christina Zadrazi talked to her a little bit for some different recap writing the Yellow Jacket, and she made it clear that this team knows what to do. It's just the untimely errors, especially in that later parts of the set, that's what's really hurting this team right now, and that was the biggest fault to why they lost against Bethany just a little bit ago.
Despite the sweep, what were some bright spots maybe in the game, and maybe who were even some bright spots despite the sweep?
I mean, Christina Zadrazi was fantastic. Mallory Boyd and Audrey Rourke were the other 2. Those are your 3 stars for Waynesburg. They consistently rotating out. The 3 of them are always just working together. Zadrazi and Work actually work on the right side and in the front. I mean, Zadrazi and Work Zadrazi's 5'9", Audrey Rourke's 5'11". Those 2 are the 2 that you get in front to get the blocks, really get some defensive work. And when they're not, and when they're on the offensive push, Zadrazi is your kill leader by a mile. Zadrazi she has 140 kills so far this year. The next closest is at 49 with Paige Mortimer. So Zadrazi is your offensive juggernaut. And she's consistently almost leading every match or every game within kills for Waynesburg. So overall, the bright spot's there. Again, it's just the untimely errors that really came to bite them. And you saw it because Waynesburg led Bethany on multiple different occasions during that match, during the game as well. It was just unfortunate and an untimely loss. But Waynesburg does have a chance to get their get back, though, because they do play every conference opponent twice. This time they'll be playing at the Rudy Mercy Fieldhouse.
The Yellow Jackets then went on to split their home tri-state match on Saturday, losing to Grove City 3-1, but then bouncing back 3-2 versus LaRoche. Spose, how was Waynesburg able to come back versus LaRoche?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was resilience. It was a reverse sweep, too, made it all the better. LaRoche was up 2-0 over Waynesburg. They started out, and Waynesburg kept it close. So it was only 25-22 in the first set and then 25-19 in the second. So it wasn't like it was a blowout. Waynesburg then made the proper adjustments, and you saw the errors went down, and they beat LaRoche in proper fashion. 25-18, 25-21, and then the 5th set, 1-15. It was 15-9 win there. Zadrazi led the way, 14 total kills in the game. Ray Boniaga led the way in assists. Not that Riley Ruffley was behind. She had 17 as well. But again, Mallory Board, 16 digs. You saw the depth. You're seeing in some of those key stats, the depth really show up when the team needed it most. That team needed to win bad. Now, it stinks it wasn't in conference play because the team's still 0-4 in conference play. But versus LaRoche, that was a big win. That's another, just a chip off the shoulder, able to know that this team can win and work down when they need to most. And again, I think the depth really applied there because you're seeing a lot of different girls and women play this year compared to years past because this is a younger team. This is a newer team. There's a few seniors, then you have pretty much sophomores and freshmen with a few juniors. It's not a lot of older upperclassmen talent. So depth was a key factor and resiliency. It was really nice to see that and a big win for Waynesburg nonetheless.
So you mentioned LaRoche is a non-conference opponent, but they did go down 2-0. Do you think the loss to Grove City, the prior match, was any added extra motivation?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think especially when you've had a bit of a struggling season like this year, going into the game 1-13, that's going to fuel you for anything. You want to win. They haven't won at home this year yet. Last year they had a fantastic home record, having I believe 4 or 5 wins at home last year. This year they hadn't had any up to this point. Granted, they've only had 2 or 3 home games, but this was a big one. And I mean, I think being fueled by that, especially losing to your former head coach and in a way of 3-1 when it was tied at 1 apiece, Waynesburg was competing through the first 2 sets, and then the last 2 they just weren't able to hold on. And that was a different kind of fire. I will say, though, Riley Ruffley, 30 assists in that Grove City game. Fantastic work by her. She's been a fantastic setter for that team, and something that Hope Johnson has talked about is very crucial for the team. Is you don't usually see a lot of players do that. Always be willing to set somebody else up instead of trying to do it yourself. She thinks it's a great leadership attribute, and I think that was a positive point so far towards the day for Waynesburg.
The Yellow Jackets will take on Franciscan tomorrow at 6. Spose, what are some personal expectations going into that match?
Well, let me tell you, Franciscan's 5-7 overall, 1-3 in conference play, but the biggest important stat, they're 0-3 on the road this year. You got to use that to your advantage. You know that the team can play well at home. We've seen it the last 2 years, despite their struggling records. You've seen that they can play well in the Rudy. Now, I will say this. I think the depth on Franciscan is interesting. They have 6 different girls who average over a point a set, and they have, 6 different girls who average at least a dig a set as well. So they have a little bit of a depth added to them. But overall, if Waynesburg does what they did against La Roche, they're going to win this game. And whether it's in 4 or 5, that's fine. But if the longer Waynesburg prolongs a game, you're seeing a little bit more success. And I think for Waynesburg as well, some other key names that I maybe haven't singled out or mentioned. You see Paige Mortimer. She's played in 48 sets so far this year, has 49 kills. You've seen Riley Roofley has 242 assists on the year. Kristen Schaefer in 47 sets has 57 kills. Mallory Boyd, I mentioned her, another freshman. She's been really good. Audrey working with Spozarski defensively has been exceptional, I should say. So I think Waynesburg can stand toe-to-toe at Franciscan. And Franciscan is one of those lower 6 teams in the conference. And I know I said early in the year, Waynesburg's going to focus on competing with those lower 6 teams because that's where they are just right now as a team. Yeah. This is a winnable game by all stretches. I think it's going to be a closer match. Franciscan's coming off a loss at home versus Allegheny, one of the best teams in the entire PSC in women's volleyball. So my expectations is utilize the depth and just kind of try to carry over what you had this past weekend in your home tri-match.
Yeah. As mentioned, the Yellow Jackets will be taking on Franciscan tomorrow at 6. But that's going to wrap up our volleyball discussion. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Brett Gombita is joining the desk to talk about Waynesburg football. You're watching Jacket Sports Weekly.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm Mia Henkins, and welcome to Buell Hall, home of Waynesburg University's Department of Communication. If you visit our campus, you'll have the opportunity to attend some comm classes, enjoy lunch with our students, and watch us in action. We hope to see you here soon at Waynesburg University.
To schedule your personal visit, go to waynesburg.edu/admissions/schedule-visit. Come grow with us at Waynesburg University.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Jacket Sports Weekly. Brett Gombita joins the desk now, so it's time to talk Waynesburg football. Waynesburg football defeated Teal this past Saturday, 45-14. The Yellow Jackets are now 2-0 in conference play. Brett, how much of a conference builder is this for the Yellow Jackets?
Oh, man, this does everything. The biggest way to build your culture is by winning, and a 30-plus point victory does just that over Teal. It's good that they scored points every quarter. You know, that keeps the ball rolling and helps you win. And this team is now 2-0 when Luke Hudson starts, so that's a trend to keep your eye on, as he did not start the first 2 games of the year, which were out of conference. So I think they took the time to find out who their QB was, and moving forward, it could be Luke Hudson now.
So Carson Shriver was the star of the show for the Yellow Jackets, rushing for 161 yards on 25 carries. He also had 3 rushing touchdowns as well. Should we expect the same type of performance going forward with an injured Zane Cawley?
Yeah, I think not only does this speak volumes about how good of a back Shriver is, but it speaks volumes about how good this offensive line is.
Yeah.
We know how good they've been for Zane Cawley. He's been one of the top backs in the PAC over the last couple seasons, but even I'm kind of thinking back to a few seasons ago when Justin Flack was the lead back, and he went down with some sort of an injury, and Zane Cawley filled right in nicely. That is exactly what Shriver just did for Cawley, so it's good to see this offensive line unit continuing to block for those guys, and I think if Cawley is out moving forward, we could expect to see some similar performances from Carson Shriver.
Yeah, and you talked about it a little bit earlier, talking about Luke Hudson's performance. So just personally, has he surprised you to this point? And then secondly, back-to-back victories, do you think he's officially won or even ended all debates over the quarterback battle?
I don't think it's over yet. I don't think it's over quite yet. There could always be a time when he goes into a cold stretch and the topic gets revisited. But I'd say he's surprised me in the aspect that he's gotten more comfortable as the games have gone on. He looks like he's really settled in back there, and I think that's once again more credit to the offensive line as well for giving him good pass protection. And yeah, 2-0 when he starts, he's spreading the love. 7 different guys caught passes last Saturday, so a lot of guys touching the ball. Offense seems to be buzzing.
We talked about Luke Hudson, Carson Shriver. Is there any stars on defense we should be looking out for to this point in the season?
The one name that's been a surprise to me so far this season has been Ishaq Adam. He has been everywhere on defense. He made some plays against John Carroll and has been able to continue that into conference play. He's been terrific the last 2 weeks. You know, the game is won in the trenches. Talked about how good the offensive line is, but he's been stout on that defensive line, and that's part of the reason they've been doing so well on the defensive side of the ball has been right up front with Ishaq Adam.
So Isaac Trout, 3 receiving touchdowns in 2 weeks. Do you expect his production to kind of stay where it's at, or do you think we'll start to see more Tyler Richmond as the year goes on?
I'd say it kind of depends on the week. You know, I think some weeks you're going to have Richmond as your leading receiver. Sometimes it's going to be Trout, and I think that's good. I wouldn't say that one of them is like a wide receiver one. I'd say it's like a 1A, 1B kind of situation. Both of them are very capable playmakers, and whichever one Hudson tends to favor on that day is going to be your guy for that given day. There's
a lot worse problems in the world when you have a 1A and 1B type of caliber receivers. Then
you could even throw Elijah Jackson in there. He's been terrific.
To this point, Elijah Jackson's been stepping up. Even Isaiah Fields has stepped up as a receiver 3 to 4 possibly. Now, going on to this Saturday, it's homecoming weekend. How do the Yellow Jackets get the win versus Allegheny?
These games always come down to the wire. 2023, Dakota Romantino was flagged for his helmet coming off, and Waynesburg lost by 3 in overtime. Last year, Waynesburg wins by 3 in a wild shootout where both teams put up 44. I think you just have to keep the momentum rolling, really. Start early and just take advantage of anything that Allegheny gives you, whether it be a short field like against Teal this past week. Teal onside kicked on the first play of the game. Waynesburg capitalized with a touchdown. Just take advantage of those opportunities that the other team provides you with, and ultimately you should walk out of there with a win. And Waynesburg got the win last year on homecoming. They're looking to do it again this year, so I think it's very possible. Yeah. I think they'll get it done.
You mentioned these crazy games versus Allegheny. Do you expect the trend to continue this year?
Yeah, I think we'll see another shootout, to be honest. I'd say both teams in the 30s, at least the 20s. Yeah, it's going to be a wild one. It always is.
The Yellow Jackets will be taking on Allegheny on Saturday for Waynesburg's yearly homecoming game. The game will be live on Waynesburg University Sports Network, so be sure to check that out. And don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's time for the top 5 plays from this past month. Logan Arblaster will be doing the honors, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Jacket Sports Weekly.
This is Jacket Sports Weekly. I'm Logan Arblaster, and I'm here to cover our top 5 plays of September. So let's get right into it. Starting off at number 5, we have women's soccer hosting Carlo. Freshman Kaya Huggins receives a pass from Miracle Hershey, takes a nice touch, and kicks it past the goalie into the top right of the net for her 4th goal of the season. Waynesburg won that game 6-0. At number 4, we head over to the volleyball court against La Roche. Here's the serve returned by Waynesburg. Ray Boniaga sets up Christina Zadrozny on the kill. Her exclamation point on a great volley tied Waynesburg at 1 in the 2nd set. That was one of 11 kills for Zadrozny, making her the match leader. The Yellow Jackets won the match over La Roche 3-2. At number 3, football's first game in conference play. Let's take you down to John F. Wiley Stadium, where Waynesburg was down by a touchdown to Hiram before the half. Quarterback Luke Hudson drops back and connects with Tyler Richmond, who lunges his way across the goal line for a 28-yard pass and catch for 6. At number 2, back to the pitch with men's soccer hosting Penn State Altoona. Behind the back pass? No. Try a back heel goal. John Engel passes to Zach Johnson for a hat trick. Johnson also set Waynesburg's single game record for points with 7 in the game. Waynesburg would go on to win 7-1. And your number 1 play of September comes from freshman Marcus Crum Jr. On a 4-hour lightning delay, it couldn't wash out the Yellow Jackets. Hiram's quarterback looked for a game-tying touchdown on the near side with 8 seconds left, but Crum intercepts his second of the day to seal the game for Waynesburg. Final score was 35-27 in nearly a 7-hour game, including the delay. The football team is now 2-0 in conference play after defeating Teal last Saturday 45-14. Focus now shifts to the homecoming game this Saturday against the Allegheny Gators. Kickoff there is at 1 o'clock. That's going to do it for our top 5 plays of September. Stick around for men's and women's soccer analysis with Anthony DiFilippo coming up next.
It's time to bring things back to the turf. Joining me at the desk is Anthony DiFilippo to discuss Waynesburg University's men's and women's soccer. Both matches took off against Bethany this past Saturday. Starting things off with women, they shut out Bethany in dominant fashion with an 8-0 final. Anthony briefly described how Waynesburg was able to dominate Bethany and on both offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Benny, both these soccer teams continue to impress me. The women absolutely rolled to that 8-0 win against Bethany. Amanda Pepe, obviously the main storyline. She had 4 goals in that match. And Alexis Greenleaf continues to be fantastic, picking up another shutout and making 6 saves in that game. Regan Mittendorf also had a pair of goals. And the one thing I want to talk about, Benny, with this women's team, it's not just the top women scoring. It's not just the Jules Moorbachers who added another tally on Saturday. It's now women like Amanda Pepe. Ryan White played really well, even though she didn't get on the stat sheet goals-wise. And Miracle Hershey had another fantastic game.
I know we're still early into the season, but what are some differences you noticed from last year going into this year so far? Is it that depth you kind of alluded to?
Yeah, I think their depth has been a ton better this year. I mean, they're getting contributions from every single position on the pitch, whether it's defensively, and some of those defensive plays don't show up on the stat sheet. Yeah. Alexis Greenleaf is obviously all over the stat sheet. But it was this offense on Saturday, 25 total shots to 13, 17 on goal versus Bethany's 6. So it's just offensively dominating, beating and handling the teams that you know how to beat or you should beat. Like Bethany isn't a good soccer program at all, but the women did their job and they got things done 8-0. Yeah.
The women are now 7-1-1 on the season. The men are now 6-2-2 after defeating Bethany 2-0. Another shutout from David Patel. How great has he been this season for the men's soccer team?
Yeah, I was interested to see how they would handle the goalie situation moving into conference play, but they're sticking with the hot hand in Devin Patel. I completely agree with the decision, and he has played really well. He actually got outshot. Bethany outshot Waynesburg on Saturday, and it was a great 2-0 win. Zachary Johnson got on the board twice, so it's just this men's team is winning games in a lot of different ways, a lot of similarities to the women's team. And against a Bethany team in the men's side that is a little bit better, they got things done as well.
Yeah. Outside of Patel, who are some other stars to look out for as the season goes on? Is it Zach Johnson?
Well,
you mentioned him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not mention Zach Johnson. I know that's a double negative when you talk about the men's soccer team. Yeah. But other players have chipped in. Liam Mowbray chipped in for a couple of goals in a non-conference game a couple of weeks back. Michael Canoe has looked really good. And then they're getting defensive contributions from everywhere. Taylor McFarland has yet to play this season. Sam Norris, an underclassman who's rising into that upperclassman rank, he's really stepped up. So they're just getting contributions from everywhere. I know Nick Bryan has played fantastically so far, and he's been contributing, whether it be on the stat sheet or not, in every single game. So it's depth. I love both of these teams' depth, and that's the real reason that they're rolling like they are right now.
So kind of combining both these teams into one. Should we expect both these teams to continue their hot start as we start conference play?
Before conference play started, I said both these teams have a legitimate shot to make it into the PAC tournament, and I still think that way. If these teams keep up their performance against Allegheny, Washington, Jefferson, Teal, St. Vincent, those are the teams that are coming down the pike in the short term. If they can keep it up against some of these tougher teams, Allegheny, that's a pretty tough test. Washington and Jefferson, we know the rivalry between those two teams. Teal, St. Vincent, these are teams that could beat Waynesburg, but also Waynesburg could win. And I did talk about it a couple of weeks ago when I was on here last. Waynesburg needs to flip some of those ties and some of those losses into wins. That's going to be their key moving down the stretch.
Yeah, so you kind of mentioned both these teams' depths. What has surprised you the most from either the men or women's team?
I am surprised of the stoutness of each of the team's defenses. I think I didn't expect, like, Lex Greenleaf, she's been a fantastic goalkeeper, but I didn't expect Devin Patel to stand out the way he would. And the women's soccer team, their back line has been really fantastic so far. If they can keep up defensively, I mean, if you're not giving up any goals, all you need is one, right, Benny? That's all you need. So these teams just keep on keeping on. Hopefully next week when we talk about them, they're in the same position.
So both teams are actually playing Allegheny right now as we are recording. But as for today, that's going to wrap up today's episode. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. For all things WCTV, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. And thank you guys for watching, and have a great night.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.